Carrie Clark again, coming at you with my show, The Healing Power of Divorce. This month's topic is all about loneliness. And for those of you watching who have gone through a divorce, loneliness was a stage in my divorce, and it continues to be something that I struggle with. Not as I did when I first filed for divorce, but it is something that rears its ugly head at me once in a while. Now, I went on the internet and I Googled the definition of loneliness. And the internet defines loneliness as a feeling of sadness, no friends or company, feeling isolated. Now, for me, I knew that I had lots of friends, but that feeling of loss that I felt inside of me when I was home was incredible. And when I talked to people about this and going through the divorce, I was not alone. Everybody had felt this feeling of loneliness. It wasn't something just isolated to Carrie. Some people told me they had shame and they felt like it was a failure. The loneliness piece for me was a process. For the first time in my life, I was faced with living alone. My ex-husband and I did not have any kids. I couldn't lose myself in being a parent. Instead, I started journaling and drawing. I also got a therapist and became a chronic social butterfly. The home that I used to spend hours on end alone in, when I was married, no longer was comfortable to me. I couldn't stay home alone. I talked to people about this, and most people that are married told me they enjoyed their alone time. I said, so did I when I was married. But something changed when you know no one is ever going to come home. You can say it won't happen to you until it does, and what was once enjoyable is no longer. In the process of loss, the first step is to exit our old life. Loss forces us to leave behind the life we've been living. We have new relationships and new normals. The second stage is to begin living in a gap between the life we left behind and the life we're going to yet to enter. We struggle with our new reality, unable to see ourselves clearly and make the same kind of decisions we did when we were married. The third stage is when we begin to experiment with our life. It's scary. I had the fear of losing my whole life as I knew it all over again. For me, I reached out to people I went to high school with. I got on Facebook. Now, you can judge me and say it's full of drama and a waste of time. But for me, at that point in my life, I had a life coach. And the life coach said to me, if I was ever going to be a successful motivational speaker, I had to get on Facebook. Now, what was funny about getting on Facebook was I never realized how many people were trying to find me. How many people that I had known throughout the years that were Googling me, trying to find out where is Carrie Clark in the world. And for that point of loneliness that I was experiencing, it was a perfect match for me. I had to go outside of my comfort zone, and these people that reached out to me started to ask me to do things. And I had to say yes. That life that I had lived of being very private and not reaching out and actually socializing with people, I had to turn it around. I had to say yes. Now we are going to pan to the video that I did. Now this video was at a point when I made the decision that I needed to live completely alone. In the transition of my divorce, I had to sell the house that I was living in, and I lived with a friend, and then I made the jump of actually living alone and actually empowering myself to be alone. And for those of you who have never lived alone, it's a scary, unreal situation. It really pushes you to the point of embracing every amount of vulnerability that you could possibly take. And for me, it's been extremely empowering. So as always, I appreciate everyone who watches me, and please take the time to follow me on my professional page, Carrie Clark, Motivational Speaker. Thanks for watching. Hey, it's Carrie again for another week of Facebook Live. This week's topic is all about being alone and loneliness, and I wanted to read from my Courage to Change book. This reading is from May 11th, and it goes like this. I spend more time with myself than anyone else. Wouldn't it make sense to put some energy into making that relationship as fulfilling as possible? Another person cannot prevent me from feeling lonely, but my inner emptiness can be satisfied. I can come to value my own company. I am a worthwhile companion. One of the illusions shared by many of us who have been affected by alcoholism is that only another person, usually the alcoholic, can fill that empty place within us. If only he were more attentive. If only she got sober. If only they were with me now, I wouldn't be lonely. But many of us remain just as lonely even after those conditions are met. Today, when I am by myself, I will know that I am in good company. When I stop expecting others to meet all my needs, I find new and exciting ways to enjoy my own friendship. And when I get lonely, I have the comfort and support of a higher power who never leaves me. Today's reminder. Today I will spend some time exploring the most intimate human relationship I will ever have, my relationship with myself. Now, I absolutely, I love this reading. I love this topic. I have recently been given the opportunity to explore some deep-rooted issues that I've had really my entire life about being alone. And this being alone topic really came about when I filed for divorce. For the first time in my life, I was alone, really alone. And surprisingly, instead of completely panicking, a calmness came over me, a confidence in that, I could do this by myself. And I've been given that opportunity again to really embrace being alone. And it's funny, I've done work on this, and the difference between being alone and loneliness is, loneliness is suffering. It really, it is for me in a lot of ways. When I feel that loneliness, that's when, I need to get in my car, or I need to go over to a friend's house. I need to, pick up the phone and call someone instead of sitting there and suffering. And that's a really big changed attitude in myself. And the other part of this topic is you can be in a relationship and be very lonely. I can reflect on the relationships I've had where I spent, all this time by myself. It was just me, and I was fine with it, but, that ability to connect with someone wasn't there. Having somebody that was emotionally available was not there for me. And, I talked to several of my friends, who have said they want to get out of a relationship, but they're so scared to be alone. Now, I will tell you, this is not an easy journey. It's not something, that I had a friend say to me, you make it look easy. Well, I've had my days of crying. I've had my days of really struggling. But at the end of the day, I have some gold stars. Well, I give myself a gold star because, I face this fear. And again, I've come to this crossroads where I'm facing it again. And instead of occupying my time with, everyone and their brother that asked me to do things, I am at this point of really saying, you know, I am going to surround myself with people that bring a positive influence, that enhance my life. I am not going to just hang out with people just because I'm lonely. I can go home and be by myself, and I like the person looking in the mirror. I can, go after my passions. I'm an artist, and those moments when I get my sketch pad out and I completely focus on my art, that's when, the peace and the calmness come over me. And it's just me and the paper. And I hope everyone has, some outlet that they're passionate about. I think in talking to people, it's funny how many people struggle with the same thing, whether you're in a relationship or not, that loneliness feeling. And I'm here to tell you we're not alone. We have to stick together. So this topic could go on and on and on, but I've just hit the tip of the iceberg with it. And it's a great conversation starter when people are really bearing their soul and being honest about it. So this is my journey, and as always, I appreciate you watching and following me, and I hope you all have the courage to change. Thanks.